Born around 1503, George Boleyn was the son of Sir Thomas Boleyn and Lady Elizabeth Howard. The Boleyn family was an ambitious and politically influential family. George's sister Anne Boleyn famously caught the eye of Henry VIII, and George's fortunes rose as Anne's relationship with the king developed. He was educated, charismatic, and known for his skill in diplomacy, poetry, and rhetoric. George was married to Jane Parker, a woman of noble birth, in 1525. It is often speculated that their marriage was not a happy one, but much of the historical evidence on this matter is unclear. Jane would later play a crucial role in the events that led to George's downfall. As Anne became Henry VIII's queen in 1533, the Boleyn family rose to prominence, with George taking on several key court positions. He was appointed Lord Warden of the Cinque Ports, a prestigious position with significant responsibility, and Master of the King's Buckhounds. He also served as a diplomat, representing England in France. Primary sources such as letters and court records offer glimpses into George Boleyn's life. These documents reveal his thoughts, relationships, and actions, providing valuable insights. They help historians piece together a more comprehensive picture of this enigmatic figure. Historians continue to debate the accuracy of the charges against George Boleyn, with some believing they were politically motivated. The lack of concrete evidence fuels ongoing discussions, highlighting the complexities and uncertainties of Tudor court politics. George's support was instrumental to Anne Boleyn's initial success at court. His unwavering loyalty and political acumen bolstered her position, helping her navigate the treacherous waters of Tudor power struggles and ascend to queenship. Known for his charm and intellect, George was a multifaceted figure. He was a poet, a patron of the arts, and a staunch advocate for religious reform, embodying the Renaissance ideal of a well-rounded courtier. George's story serves as a cautionary tale of ambition and loyalty in a volatile political landscape. His rise and fall illustrate the perilous nature of court life, where fortunes could change in an instant. George Boleyn was executed on May 17, 1536, at the Tower of London, just 2 days before his sister Anne. Alongside him were several other men who had been accused of having affairs with the Queen. His final speech before his execution is notable for its eloquence and defiance. While he confessed to being a sinner in the eyes of God, he denied the specific charges of adultery and incest. George Boleyn's life paints a vivid picture of the perils and privileges of Tudor court life. While his ambitions brought him close to power, they also led to his dramatic downfall. His story is both inspiring and cautionary. And despite his tragic end, George's legacy endured through his writings and the cultural patronage he supported. He was beheaded on Tower Hill, and his body was buried in the chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula, within the Tower of London. George Boleyn's death was a tragic part of the wider fall of the Boleyn family. His execution, along with that of Anne, was largely a political maneuver by King Henry VIII and his advisors, including Thomas Cromwell. The charges against him, particularly incest, have long been discredited by historians as baseless fabrications designed to facilitate the king's divorce. George Boleyn's support was crucial to his sister Anne's initial success at court. His influence and connections helped her navigate the treacherous waters of Tudor politics, solidifying her position as queen. Known for his charm and intellect, George Boleyn was a complex figure. His wit and intelligence made him a favorite at court, but these traits also drew envy and suspicion from his rivals. George's story serves as a cautionary tale of ambition and loyalty. His rise and fall highlight the dangers of political maneuvering and the fragile nature of favor in the Tudor court. Thomas Cromwell. The charges against him, particularly incest, have long been discredited by historians as baseless fabrications designed to facilitate the king's divorce. George Boleyn's story is often overshadowed by the more famous narrative of his sister Anne. However, his life was one of considerable achievement before his fall, and his tragic death remains one of the many dark chapters in the history of the Tudor court. George's support was a cornerstone of Anne Boleyn's ascent to queen. He championed her cause, providing unwavering loyalty and strategic counsel. Without his backing, Anne's path to power might have been fraught with even greater challenges. George Boleyn's story, often eclipsed by his sister Anne Boleyn, is intertwined with the turbulent, dangerous world of Henry VIII's court, where fortunes could rise and fall in the blink of an eye. George Boleyn was part of the broader ambition of the Boleyn family to secure power and influence at court. His father, Sir Thomas Boleyn, had steadily climbed the political ladder, and George, as the only son, was seen as the future head of the family. Raised alongside his sisters, Anne and Mary Boleyn, George received a top-tier education, making him one of the more intellectually gifted courtiers of his time. He was fluent in multiple languages, including Latin and French, and was noted for his wit and oratory skills. He was also a poet, though most of his works have been lost. Some historians believe that his poetry was influenced by the courtly love tradition, where noblemen wrote idealized verses about love and beauty. His close proximity to the artistic and intellectual movements of the day suggests that he was a Renaissance man, actively engaging in the culture of the time. George was given diplomatic assignments that took him to France and elsewhere in Europe. His fluency in French and his understanding of European politics made him a valuable asset. The Boleyn family's alliance with Protestant-leaning factions within Europe also put George at the center of religious and political upheavals. He was involved in missions to secure alliances and ensure England's position in the complex network of European monarchies. His reputation has been somewhat rehabilitated over time, but his story is still largely overshadowed by that of Anne. However, he is remembered as a man of intelligence, wit, and loyalty to his family, tragically caught in the web of Henry VIII's ruthless politics. His role as Lord Warden of the Cinque Ports placed him in charge of England's defences along the southeast coast, overseeing important maritime operations. This was a prestigious and strategic role that indicated his growing influence. Recent scholars have started to reassess George Boleyn's legacy. They aim to provide a more nuanced understanding of his life and influence. This modern re-evaluation sheds light on his political, cultural, and religious contributions previously eclipsed by his downfall. George's relationship with Anne is one of the most debated aspects of his life. The two siblings were known to be close, sharing a bond that likely stemmed from their shared ambitions and similar educations. Their relationship was probably strengthened by their mutual rise to power. To dive deeper into George Boleyn's life and legacy, explore the myriad historical records and debates surrounding him. Engage with this fascinating figure's story by liking, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts in the comments.